guys, it's Julesy, and I know it's been a minute since I put up like a, I guess the last like video where you've seen me straight on was when I did the get ready with me. And for some reason you guys enjoyed that one, maybe because I was talking about Fashion Nova. You guys didn't really watch my last Adobe video. Are you guys tired of Adobe with me? I'm trying, look, I am fighting hard, pushing back hard, maybe fighting is not the real word, pushing back hard to make sure that they allow me to do content that is actually what you guys want to see. So my last Adobe video, it would be so beautiful if you went back and watched it, the one about who inspires, who impacts me, because it's really not really about Adobe. It is about the beautiful women on YouTube who have helped me evolve into the smart brown girl that I am today. And I did, like, I hired a designer, a black designer, Temmie, who did a really beautiful job, and I can't wait for the posters to come in. So just to see his work and like all the time that went into it, it would, if you don't have to watch an ad for this video, go back, watch that video, and then come back to this. All right. One of the questions I get the most is about what am I reading? Can I suggest book lists? I already have 2 on my channel. I believe one from 2015 and then one from last year. Even though my reading has scaled back, I still buy books because I love books, and I have read. Now, I have not loved everything that I have read, so this isn't necessarily a list about what to read. It's more of a list of what I have read and a list of what I'm planning to read. So let's get into it. First up is Homegoing by Jessie. I think it's pronounced Jessie. Girl, somebody's gonna be like, Julesy, you're pronouncing it wrong. Sorry, I'm American, bruh. Amazing book. Love it. Happened to be at the Dallas Library because I was checking out books or returning books. I have a library card and I live across the street from the library and I'm there often. And it so happenstance, she was there doing autographs of her book. So I ran my happy behind back home, picked my book up, and boom, 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 got it. And so I definitely plan on restarting the Smart Brown Girl book club. This is not going to be the first book featured when it starts back up, but amazing, great book, especially if you're into the history of the African diaspora. It is fiction, but I love that it hits on both the notes of the history of Ghana and of Africans as slaves in America and kind of what transgressed in the history of African Americans. The one thing I will kind of note, I don't know, I actually do want to do a full review on this book. A full review, because I have a lot of thoughts about it, and I definitely felt like I kind of had critiques about Americana where like Chimamanda, you definitely could tell it was like Nigerian and didn't really care or have a personal attachment to like the African American experience. And I felt that way about this too. That'd probably be like, but it's not as big of a criticism as I had of Americana of this, because I don't feel like she did African Americans a disservice. I just felt like sometimes when I got into the more recent aspects of the African American, the way the book is broken down, you have to read it, girl. Just go read it. But I did feel like I got into certain chapters so I could kind of tell. I was like, yeah, I feel like there's more of a personal attachment to the Ghanaian side of the history versus the African American side. But it all intertwines because it deals with 2 sisters, and one gets sold into slavery and one has a child with the colonizer. Aha! Great book. I love it. Link will be down below and in the eye above. Because somebody was talking about this on Twitter. So I got this book and I did read it. Colson, Whitehead, The Underground Railroad. And I did not like it. And I read it right after reading Homegoing. And so this one, they have a similar, is it really similar? This one talks about, that's how much I didn't like it. I'm trying to remember what the book was about. It's about leaving on the Underground Railroad, running away from slavery, but they kind of literally find an underground railroad, like literally find a train that goes underground. So slight mysticism. He writes it through the narrative of a woman, and I could tell it wasn't really written by a black woman. My favorite book is The Temple of My Familiar by Alice Walker. I felt like it just was a little cliche. Not a bad read, like I'm not bad, I bought it, but I just was like, okay. The most recent book that I have read is Pedagogy of the Oppressed, which I have mentioned so many times in so many recent videos because it has blown my mind entirely. If you watch my last VidCon vlog where I put in a clip of the live stream I did with Adobe, which is also on their Facebook page, so you can go see it because I do name check the book. I say about how like the difference between humans and animals is that we create history. Chapter 2 of this book, bruh. It's a heavy, hard read. I mean, it's highlighted with notes. But like, sometimes you just realize that you've been doing things a certain way and not realizing how in line they are already with a certain philosophy, and then having it being articulated in such an intelligent way. It's also translated from Brazilian, so it does get a little repetitive. So I had a struggle getting through chapter 4, even though the end of chapter 4 was like, pow, 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 wow. I don't know that I would get this on Audible though, because I don't think I would be able to like take it all in. I have some other books on Audible, and I just don't think, I think when I'm passive listening, because I like my mind clearly be everywhere but here, just be all over the place. So I think having it in text is important. Currently, I am reading Killing the Black Body by Dorothy Roberts. If you have questions about Black feminism, if you have questions about how the reproductive rights and the restrictiveness of our rights through the laws actually is a war against the Black woman body, read this sucker here. I checked it out from the library and had gotten halfway through and then realized, like Pedagogy, the press, I need to be able to highlight and write notes. So I'm rereading it from the beginning. I literally should be like somewhere here in the book, but I'm gonna start all over again, get through this. Bruh, she talks about Norplan. She just talks about so many things. You don't realize how much we've been trained via media and like the crack epidemic and crack babies to like really side with white supremacy and patriarchy against the Black female body. I do. These are books that I haven't read. This Gia Talentino, who's writing, I think is amazing. She writes for The New Yorker, currently formerly of Jezebel.com. This is What It Means When a Man Falls from the Sky. It's a collection of short stories. The author is Nigerian. I could tell because I've read the first 2 chapters, and it only took me, like, I read it and I read it standing, so I could already tell it's going to be a good book, but it is a lot of notes on the Nigerian experience. Read the first story, like the ending, I was like, pow! I was like, oh my god! Girl. I got Why I'm Not a Feminist by Jessa Crispin because Amazon recommended it to me, and I believe I also saw Kimberly Foster, either she tweeted or Facebooked about it. The font in this is big, girl. But I've heard it's good. Every time I make a purchase, it like popped up with all my other purchases. I believe when I bought Killing a Black Body, I had this bookmarked to look back into it, and then Kimberly tweeted about it. I was like, oh, okay, let me go ahead and read it. What's his name on Twitter recommended this book. He light skinned with a beard, and I want to say his first name is Colin. I don't remember, girl, and I'm just trying to get this video done at this point. The Color of Law, A Forgotten History of How Our Government Segregated America. Ooh, I'm excited to read this. Yes, girl, I love a good read on the history of America and white supremacy that we were not taught in school. Get your education on and not be manipulated. Don't be following that fake ass Dr. Umar Johnson fake ass girl. I'm trying to get the facts only. I'm gonna have a video on that statement later. I've also been reading this, but I haven't really gotten that far, and I've had it checked out from the Dallas Library since February. It's not late. They just keep renewing it for me. Black Sexual Politics, African Americans, Gender, and the New Racism by Patricia Hill Collins. Is she the one that came up with the term intersectionality, or was that Kimberly Crenshaw? And I feel like I checked out a Kimberly Crenshaw book too, and then I don't remember. Yeah. But because there is just so much homophobia and misogyny, misogynoir, whatever you want to call that, I feel like I just want to be better understanding of it. And so this is why I got that book. Because I do want to do a video about Black women and homophobia, but I don't know that I necessarily have the words or the intellectual understanding right now to like fully be able to like handle that conversation, because I know y'all gonna want to come for me. So this is part of that research, girl. Okay, but Patricia Hill Collins is very much so noted. That is all for this video. Let me know in the comments down below, what have you been reading? I would love to hear if you have any book selections. I think I'm pretty good through this year for books, but then also going into the fall and thinking about applying to grad school and taking a GRE. I don't know how my time's gonna be. My goal is to bring the Smart Brown Girl Book Club back in October. All right, thanks again for watching. Let me know what y'all been reading. If you have recommendations, I want to hear. Let's dialogue. Let's have a kid. This is